Thank you for the question. I think the timing areas, we have all the for the 6 weeks we have. I think we had Hamatan. I think in December. Yes, in mid-December we had Hamatan, and we were able to cover the 6 weeks period. So now you have two. So the rainy season, and we include the dry season too. That's the Hamatan too on our report. Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity to ask a few questions. My question is similar to what Prof just asked you. Ghana, we have two regimes of rainfall. In the southern, we have two rainy seasons, minor and major. And then in the northern part of Ghana, let's say from the middle belt going to the north, we have roughly one rainy season. So how come, I don't know how you are doing it, whether you are doing it in collaboration with GMET to tell you this is the right time to take your data, or I don't know the collaboration. Maybe you can tell me. So then, maybe after asking this, I'll not ask any questions again. So my other question goes to my boss. I like my boss, actually. I call him the paramount chief of air quality research in Ghana. And he kind of having the vision for the whole of Africa, like Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the Pan-Africanist. With all respect to all my African colleagues, I am not saying he shouldn't go to other parts of Africa, but I would have wished that my boss, apart from Accra, will consider the middle belt and the northern belt, because the climate variabilities are different. They are a bit different. Ghana is elongated this way, yeah, and so having Accra at the corner here, the bottom right corner there, is for me not very representative of the whole of Ghana. So I would have wished my boss will consider having the middle belt, a center there, and Sunyane can well host the middle belt, station. My boss is here, Dr. Prem is here, yes. So his own, product, and then something also in the north. We have people from the north here, so you can have another center over there, replicate them, and then your place become like the main reference point in the country, and then we always compare notes. I'm picking this from the module from NASA. NASA, they have institutions in different, well distributed in the country. India to the same thing. Space institutions are not just at one place, but at different parts of the country. So if this air quality 10, which is so big, can be spread out in the country and have a very good firm grounding, I think that would be very great. Tied to regards to funding, there's something that Heart Foundation people are doing for, is it Verna or one of the bottled water that we are using? What's the name? Yes, Verna, and yes, and they've gone to have collaboration with them, and then they give a percentage, of the pricing. They add a percentage of the pricing to the product. So as you are drinking the water, you are also supporting. Those water people, for instance, can add it to their adverts, and that will mean doing some kind of engagement with them and getting their buy-in to accept that, and then adding maybe 5 pesos, to their water products. Apart from water, there are so many other products in the country that we can, connect to. I can keep on mentioning them, but I'll take too much time. So I'll end it here.
So I think I was trying to answer the first question, as they're trying to differentiate between the mid-rainy season and the major rainy season, right? Against the dry season. So we base our testing period on the major rainy season. So let's say if we have major rain, we're trying to see whether if we have a major rain, how well will the census perform, right? So the peaks of the rainy season, we pick those days and then try to see how well they will behave against the reference monitors. Also, the dry season, we have the Harmattan, that's the peak of where we have the dust storms. We are also curious to see whether the census can perform better in this period against the normal dry season that we have in the south. So we try to kind of test more, whether in the major rainy season, the mid-rainy season, the dry season, and the Harmattan, just to see whether they will perform better against the referendum. I don't know whether Prof.
Yeah, Francis, thank you for your questions. They are very good questions. And just to add to James, yes, we have two major rainy seasons in the southern part of Ghana. We have the April to July, and then we have the September to November. So those are the two seasons. And you are right that in the north they have just one rainy season. So we base our protocol on having 6 weeks in the dry season and 6 weeks in the rainy season. And so I think we are even gone above the AQ spec that does just 2 weeks, right? 2 months, yeah. 2 months. So we have gone 12 weeks. Okay? And I think that what we try to do is to look at now, if we started this project, I think with the deployment in September. Okay? Even though it's 1 year, but the actual deployment of sensors was in September. So we try to cover that period. Let me say that convincing sensors manufacturers to send you their sensors, especially you are not a new entity, it takes a long time. And I wish Mike was here. We've spent many hours on Zoom convincing them to be able to send us sensors. AQ-SPEC is known. NALU is known. Air-PARI is known. Afri-SET is not known. So we even had to get Wilton, who agree to even recommend us to sensors manufacturers, so that they could send us the sensors. We had to, it was a long conversation, but we started. This is a starting, all right? And I think hopefully Wilton is going to even now help us to get even other manufacturers on board, okay? And also NALU. So we look at our first period of evaluation is to look at the rainy season from September, okay, to somewhere November, and then look at the dry period. But even as we started to evaluate, you will find that because of the climate change, we see that the dry period is even having even more rain than the wet period, at least in Accra at our center, So what we want to do is at least to see whether these sensors can go through this Harmattan dust, because it's a natural phenomenon. The other ones are man-made, anthropogenic, okay? So now sensors manufacturers who want to enroll on the next evaluation period will start with the dry period, and then we'll move into the rainy period, all right? And as I said, every year we had intended to evaluate 10 sensors. This year we had 12, and hopefully we will get them to bring sensors. So that is on that. The other one you asked about, why is it that we are not moving into the middle belt of Ghana, into the northern part? I mean, we have this facility. It is set up not only for Ghana, but for West Africa. Many of our countries in West Africa don't even have any monitoring going on. All right? We have similar climatic conditions. So it's the start. And it also means that funding is another issue. For Clean Air Fund, we have a timeline for this project. And we would have loved to put it into all parts of Ghana. But you be there. I mean, our partners from the Ghana EP is there. You know how much one reference monitor costs? It's not small money. All right? So if we have reference monitors in the middle side and in the northern part, we could set up there. But the good thing is that when you bring your sensors from Suyani, we co-locate it here. We do a correction factor, all right? Calibrate it. And then you take it to where you are going. Now you have a calibration. So when you deploy it at UNE, you can always correct it to read what it would be if this reference sensor was located, at your facility. That is the beauty of the calibration. I mean, there may be plus or minus some small errors, but at least you have an indication. So this is a start. And if we get more funding, we'll certainly take it around. But we had sat down with our funders and said that, look, let's turn this, develop. So this is more of a, how do you call it? We have a concept. We are testing this concept. It's a proof of concept. If it works, why don't spread it upward? Clean Air Fund, I don't know whether Desmond Apia mentioned that. All right? They had to make a choice, whether to come to Ghana first or go to South Africa. All right? So they chose to come to Ghana. This year they are moving to South Africa. We don't know their plans. The following year they may go, I mean, they are spreading across Africa. Ghana is the very first country Clean Air, came into, in first African country. They've been in Europe, they've been in Asia. All right? So they are strategic. And so we had this plan with them that we will replicate this. And once we have the proof of concept, they will take this concept and then move it to the next region. So we did this in collaboration with them. There's a plan to move it. It's in collaboration with Clean Air Fund. So we don't have the funds. We depend on the funders. But locally, once we have this, we must sustain it. So we work with the EPA and other, agencies to see how we can ensure that these very expensive monitors are maintained. So what we do is that within this project, we've built in some sustainability, because if that monitor goes down, this project goes out. So in terms of consumables, we are getting to collaborate with them to ensure that we have everything. There was a question after Wilton, which I think was talking about the getting manufacturers to come who should maintain it. All right? I didn't get that question well, whether it was on sensors or monitors. My contribution to that, if it's sensors, because they are low-cost sensors, for example, you spend $300 to buy a sensor, I don't think you want to pay $5,000 someone air ticket to come and repair that sensor. You just throw it away and get a new one. If it's a monitor that